everyone, we are back with all of our cut flowers and we're going to do something different and fun. So this is going to be a series of videos on designing bouquets, particularly roasting my bouquet. So we are going to design a $30 mason jar arrangement. Crane sells $30 mason jar arrangements at his farm side stand, and he joked that he'll try to sell mine. I don't think he should. That's a bad idea.
I think I will.
He has impeccable design, and design is something that I've talked about me lacking. So I'm going to create one, and we're going to go through what Crane would do differently for his $30 bouquets. In his video, we're also going to then see him designing a $30 bouquet. And then in the rest of my video, we're actually going to talk about a little bit more around selling these bouquets. So specifically, how many mason jar bouquets is Crane able to sell, how he sells to his florists, marketing stuff, all the business stuff, particularly for the person who has a suburban type of lot, has a passion for flowers, doesn't want to turn this into something crazy or a full-time gig, but wants to make some money on the side just to supplement their passion for flowers. I think that this video will really resonate with you guys. Yep. All right, so let's get started. So you've got these jars. This is 1.5 cups.
16 ounce, one, I think it's called pint.
Yeah, these are the pint size jar mason bouquets. So I'm gonna move some of these back so that you can see, or we can try to build around here. So I think that this actually is good over here. All right, so where do I even start? This is kind of embarrassing. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. So I always like to start with filler, and okay, I'm gonna, he's already laughing at me.
So by the way, guys, you know, to me, flower design is like art, just like, you know, painting and everything else. There's no right and wrong. It's just, you know, the style. But
he's saying that to make me feel better. No, I'm kidding.
but you know, this is gonna be mason jar that I sell at my roadside stand. So I will see, you know, if it kind of like my mason jar or not.
Ah, yes, we're gonna elevate this. Perfect, all right. Okay. I feel very nervous right now.
No, don't be nervous.
Actually, I feel like I still need a little bit more like filler to, where's this other piece of filler that I had before in here? This one. So how long would you say it takes for you to build a mason jar bouquet?
One bouquet,
or arrangement?
just if I have clean flowers,
Yeah.
from like, you know, stress them like this to put together about 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
Right. But my style is I spend a lot of time on cleaning the stems.
Yes.
Yep. Because I use something like this. Like little teeny tiny stem. I call them like a dukadik, you know, it's like some kind of filler.
Yep.
That I feel like other flower growers don't grow them because they are so difficult to handle. Oh my God, you're so fast. You're probably faster than me.
I mean, a part of like, look, anyone who follows me knows that I talk a lot about like time and trying to be a little bit more efficient. Yeah. So there is this aspect of like, I am trained inherently to try to be faster. And Crane's probably like, but the design is off.
Does look nice. Hold on.
So we are going to talk a little bit about pricing afterwards. And in terms of just like, are we overstuffing? Is there such thing as being worried about overstuffing in this world of you are a like backyard grower and you just want to make some side cash? Oh God, this is like...
That's outside of it. Yeah. You need more flowers?
I feel like I've gone over $30 already. I gotta take like...
Not at all. This is like, I think I put a lot more. think I can do this.
All right, so that's the back over here. Is there hope for me, Crane?
Oh my God, I mean, you just show me that it can be so much easier than the way I do it. Oh, I mean, I'm supposed to roast you, but I don't. I mean, if you see how I arrange them, you're gonna like, you have to roast me instead, I think. Because it's gonna take me like forever.
I feel like at this point I'm definitely overstuffing. So, okay, I'm like almost done right now. I'm gonna have one more focal in here, probably like a rose. But definitely this is overstuffing from a pricing standpoint, right? And
Really?
oh yeah. So let's we're gonna break this down. I'm actually kind of proud of this.
Yeah, I think
This is a steal for $30. Here, let me bring this. Yeah, this is not $30, guys. Like if you were to price this according to like Flower Farm land wholesale markup. So this is what my arrangement looks like in a pint-sized jar. This is probably at least like 2 times the length of the pint-sized jar, maybe a little bit taller. And so, yeah, I'm giving you guys a 360 view over here. All right, so let us now start roasting. And actually what I'm gonna do is I am going to take the camera off the tripod and we're going to get closer. Crane's gonna start roasting this from a design perspective and we're gonna get into numbers.
Okay, for this side perspective, I feel like this is nice for customer who want like, you know, different colors and variety. But if it's for my stand, I would pick the theme of the color first. So
That is a good point because I went into this without any thought around color, just like I like bright colors and I also like things on opposite ends of the color wheel, so I like contrast colors. Yeah. So that's why it's a little bit of a color clash riot.
So you can still do the contrast, but here's what I wouldn't do for my stand. 3 colors of snapdragon in one bouquet. So I usually can I change?
Yes, of course.
So I would take this out because you put 2 pink, right? The Madame Butterfly. I would add 3 Madame Butterfly instead. So you said that you like the contrast, right? So I would contrast the light pink Madame Butterfly with the dark color foliage. And darker color is Sweet William, right? Because we have dark color foliage. For my stand, I wouldn't put green and dark color green together. So take this out. I'll put this in. You're out here. Now, this can sometimes, you know, when this can can be just a little too wild for me, so I would take this out too, and these two like stay together. I would spread it out, the weed here.
That's a good point. That
Right.
is something I
Right.
should have known. Yes,
Oh, okay. Now we have a little more uniform, right? And we have contrast, right? And something that's kind of out of place is this.
The orange marigold.
Right.
Calendula, I mean.
Yeah, it's like,
So,
you know.
so actually, you brought up form. When you're structuring mason jar bouquets, are you thinking about how the form looks like all around 360 degrees? Like, how are you starting off with form?
I starting off from pick the flowers, lay them all out first before putting together, and I put them together in my hand. I can show you guys later too how to do that. So okay, orange is out of place. Take it out. I think you picked this. Oops.
Oh no, that's.
You can pick. I see you pick this. You know, kind of peachy rose. I think you like it, right?
Yep.
So we are going to because this is kind of doesn't fit in, because you know they're all pink. So I'm gonna bridge it with some
GM there.
some GM. So when you put this and this, it's a big difference. If you put a little orange flowers, you know, it will blend in. It will help blend this in with the other flowers. I would, this is also, you know, one stem here. I would give him some friend.
Do you have a rule of not doing twos or always doing threes or like?
No, no at all. You know, my goal is to make the bouquet beautiful and look, you know, look. Okay, so is it $30 yet? What do you think? More?
Well, it depends on how you want to mark up bouquet, right? And I think this is a good time to talk about the different ways of pricing, right? You can either look at per stem and what do it fetch wholesale and markup, or there's also like value-based pricing, which technically is above cost-based because now you're valuing the arrangement skills that you possess, right? Because you said this is an art, not just like, you know, mechanized putting things together.
Yep.
But yeah, you've got a rose, you've got a peony in there, you've got a ranunculus, right? So those are like your three premium types of flowers. I can tell you that peonies and roses are going anywhere from like $3 to $5 a stem.
Oh my God.
So that's wholesale. So if you were to
God.
do a markup, a 2 times markup wholesale of just those 3 stems alone, $15, you're already at $30 without any of this, right? Which is why it's actually unrealistic to say that, hey, like I can do traditional cost-based type of markup and sell a $30 bouquet, because then it's kind of like 3 stems. But we also have snapdragons in here. So how many do we have? We have three. Snapdragons. You know, we'll call that like $1.50 wholesale.
Oh gosh.
So when you mark that up, that's what, God, my mind is not going very well. That's $9 for the snapdragons. So I would say cost-based pricing alone, this is probably already like $40.
Oh no.
Especially if you were to add like 1 or 2 more focals, I would actually not have any problem trying to sell this for $40.
Can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
I would sell this about $15.
15? All right, that's definitely too low.
Okay.
That's definitely too low. All right,
thank you,
so
Jessie.
I think this is really interesting, because now tell me, or start editing this and adding more to what would get to a $30 bouquet for you for your farm stand.
Okay, for my flower stand?
Yeah. Because I think at this point, this is what you would edit for my bouquet, right? And okay, so I said I would sell for $40. I think realistically at my farmer's market,
This would be $40?
no, I would probably
30?
sell it for at least 30.
Okay,
Yeah,
this
and
is
I think
30.
that I could actually get $30. I wouldn't get a lot of people paying $30 for that, because I think people at my farmer's market are looking for like cheaper flowers to put on their table.
Yeah.
But that is definitely like giftable at $30.
Oh my gosh. I could be a millionaire if I sell this $30 a bouquet. Now let's do my my version of $30
Yes.
and my way. So I will put all the flowers that I need first on the table. Gonna use this. Use this. Sweet pea.
I even see the sweet pea.
You missed it. All of this. And you know the weed here. What is this called again? Clover,
Yes.
peony.
And it's funny, as you're laying out the stems, I can already see you gravitating towards a certain type of color palette.
Right.
Like a very pastel-y light, pink, white, creamy one.
Yep, and some purple. Actually, I planned before I even cut it. I mean, I can see, you know, what I'm going to do with them. Some mint.
So for your mason jars, are you creating various types of color palettes to put out there, or are you sticking with a couple?
I whatever I have in my garden, and then you know, I have
go from
about
there.
I have about 6 buckets, you know, in front of me, and then each bouquet, I just, do like this first. Then I'll work on it. Jessie, you're probably having heart attacks. Seeing
$30.
$30.
All right, so okay, let's talk a little bit about farm stand. How many bouquets are you putting out in a weekend?
About, I open on Thursday, I put about 3. Friday, I put about 4. And Saturday, I put about 5.
Okay, so you clearly know the days where there's higher traffic.
Yes.
Would you say that you're consistently able to sell all of them, or sometimes you're left over with some?
Always all of them.
Always all of them. So
That's my goal.
Yep. So you're putting out a total of what, 12, right? 3 plus 4 plus 5.
Right.
So 12, and you're selling them at $30 each.
Yeah.
So that means every single week you're able to gross or top line revenue of $360,
Yes.
which isn't bad. For
And
you just go outside to your roadside stand.
Yeah, and
Put them out?
during the week and I don't I also don't supervise my stand too.
Yep.
I know sometimes I mean a lot of time I watch from the house, but I don't stay there all the time.
Yep. So you're already putting this in your hand right now.
So I put all the wimpy stuff in the middle first because
Wimpy stuff.
because the other flower will support them. Then I put the strong flowers to support them. Now I start from like the branching flowers like these roses. I kind of tuck them in together. Oh, I'm so nervous because
You're the pro at this.
I'm gonna wait to you to say how much should my bouquet be sold for. Gonna do roses. See, you can see here I spent so much more time than you. Peony. Then, so once I have that look like a mini bouquet, I start to add the whimsical stuff.
Is this just you learning from your self-experience, or did you take a class? Did you learn from someone?
Instagram.
Instagram.
And then I just keep practicing. I think I spent too much time on my bouquet, but it's kind of paid off in my skills.
Yeah, of course.
This is just $30 bouquet, but because I do this in every single bouquet. Now I feel like I have the skill to make any bouquet, any flower beautiful. Special button.
All right, so I'm going to stop you right over there.
Yes.
If you were to wrap that up, how much would you sell that for right now?
$10 or $15.
I think even at my farmer's market, where I I keep on talking about my farmer's market, like there's a price cap, which there is, but people are willing to spend a little bit more. That is easily like $25.
No way.
Yes. I mean, you've got the roses. I know that's one stem, but it's 4 heads. You've got like 2 peonies in there, and then you've got some good texture. So assuming that it can actually last for at least like a full 7 days, that would be like home run $20. I think I can get away with $25. As you're adding to this, I mean, we're like, if you put filler right now, just like filler, $30. Like you're there.
Really?
Yes. And that's definitely undervaluing it because you've got some primo focals in there. But I think the other thing to point out is that even though we've got primo focals in there, like you didn't spend that much time growing most of this stuff. So the biggest cost in terms of building any kind of bouquet and selling it is the labor piece of it, which is broken up into what Crane is doing right now, building the bouquet, but also growing the bouquet. And I think that this really highlights the benefit of having something like a perennial garden, because Crane can futz around and overstuff and just take his time and probably still be as profitable as most people out there who are charging a bit of a higher price but spending all this time growing annuals.
I'm gonna share this with you. So last year I was about 1.5 years ago, I think in that winter, I'm like, you know what, I talked to my friend who's like, who has like a business mindset. She said, Crane, you gotta do, do the numbers, like start tracking your numbers. So I did for that year, which is last year. I, I mean, that's when I figured out that I cannot do this for business because
It's too much work.
too much work and I don't make money too. That's kind of sad, but I get the, get to have this garden.
And we talked about this in the tour, is that you have to know yourself and what motivates you. And your main reason for growing flowers is to enjoy them. And I can see just from the way you cut, your goal is to not cut every single stem, right? Your goal is to cut enough so you can sell some bouquets, but really get to enjoy the presence of everything in the garden. And I think that that's actually really important for people to think about, is when you go into flower farming, right, there's the intentionality of wanting it to be a business and creating a livable wage for you and treating it like a true business. But then there's also plenty of people in your shoes who never want to treat it as a true business, because it does suck the joy out of growing flowers.
Right. And if I think about it, although I don't make money, but I wouldn't have, the money. I would have to fund my own.
Correct. Right now, at least your garden's self-funded, we'll call it. Right. And then I think there's this other part around, if this is more of a hobby type of business, then it means that this is what you're spending your free time doing. So you'd be spending your free time doing it anyway, right? Versus doing something else that actually, I guess what I'm trying to say is, when you have a business mindset, you're thinking about, how else could I be spending my time? And it could be spent making money. But if this is a hobby, you'd be spending your time doing it anyway, is the point, right? So you're making some money off of it. And I would say that you're at least not undercharging, because I do see some people creating bouquets like this and charging like $15, which is definitely armed robbery. But at least you're charging some, I think when you're charging $30 for flowers, the common person is stopping and typically saying to themselves, that's not just $10 I'm putting out of my pocket, right? I have to be someone who's willing to enjoy flowers and pay that kind of premium. So even though the value of it is higher, $30 is not necessarily a low price point for someone to just pick up flowers for their house. That is freaking gorgeous. I am embarrassed by that versus that. Here, can we put them side by side? Oh God.
Oh, like this, okay.
He's still editing his bouquet.
Yeah, I need you to get a best photo of it. And here's a marketing tip. When you arrange a bouquet and you try to sell them, make sure there's one side that is look good. So I hold it up like this, right? Then I would, or maybe come to this side. So I would hold it up like this. I take my phone out and take a photo. And this would be my Instagram, Instagram photo. I post on my Instagram on the morning when I put the bouquet out, and then people come and people see the bouquet. Oh my God, this is so beautiful, and then they come to grab it. I used to pay Facebook and Instagram to advertise my bouquets, but since I am doing this the third year, I stopped advertising.
And you have enough traffic.
Right. The second reason, I kind of know that I sell my bouquets too cheap, so I don't want to hurt, my flower friends in the area to buy, by selling a lot. And that's also the reason that I slow down the numbers of the bouquets that I make every week, because I don't want to create a high volume of bouquets and it will hurt my flower friends who like subscriptions and because they're all my friends. I also increase my price $5 every year. Like the first year when I started, I sell like $15. That bouquet that you stopped me, right? Then I think in the middle of the season I increased to $20 because $15 there's change and I have the cash box, by my stand. $20 would be better, easier for customer, and I add more flowers. And second year, I increased to $25, and then this year I increased to $30 because again I don't want to hurt the local flower farmer here too.
So let's actually talk about these two bouquets, right? Obviously, from like a value standpoint, from the number of blooms you've been able to stuff into this one alone, is incredible and definitely worth more from like a dollar perspective in that sense, right? Yeah. But let's actually step out of that for a moment and talk about structure. I think what I learned from you today is that the perceived, like I always was told that the perceived value of a vase arrangement is higher the higher up the arrangement is. And you were able to make such a, I mean, this is almost like a bridal bouquet type of like arrangement, but in a mason jar. And I just think that the amount of height that you have over here is actually perfect and one that I love more than something like this. I also think that this is a lot easier to transport than something like this. So you're giving me a lot more just ideas for when I make a vase arrangement, I actually am probably building them a little bit higher than they need to be. The other thing is that like coming from a pricing and business mindset, you can see that there's a huge difference between the amount of filler that Crane used versus the amount of filler I used. I used a lot of shrubbery, like things that fill out, right? So the 9 bark over here, this is also 9 bark. I had some Solomon seal before, or yeah, that was Solomon seal, right? So the point is that like I'm trying to bulk out the bouquet and minimize the amount of focals, right, with this business-oriented mindset versus Crane is obviously just going for like what is going to give the most amount of wow, right? So you've got like, let's count how many focals you've got. 1, 2 peonies, 3 peonies down here, 4 total peonies, and then you've got, we're actually going to count these roses as 4 separate roses. So you've got 8 focals here, right? 8 focals plus sweet pea, which is considered more of a premium type of flower, right? So you've got 9 premium types of flower plus all of this other stuff that is, we'll call it filler, but it's, at the end of the day, I think that depending on your market, like I think that someone in an urban market could easily sell this for $50. Wow. But like, again, it depends on where you live. You live in a part of New Jersey that's close to the Jersey Shore. It's not like there's a lot of, it's not like super affluent, but it's also not super poor. And I think that you could probably get away with doing less of these big hitting focals and doing more of like bachelor's buttons and even things like dianthus over here. Okay. But in some ways, it doesn't matter because you're not cutting everything. Your goal isn't to maximize the, we'll call it like, your goal isn't to maximize the dollar amount from here in terms of what you make, right? So I think that some people need permission to overstuff, and I think that if you have a higher price point, like I would consider $30 a higher price point, I think that you give yourself a little bit more flexibility to be able to overstuff without completely underselling yourself. That makes sense. So you told me earlier that you actually raised your prices for Mother's Day. Talk about that. Okay, so I on Mother's Day I had to buy more flowers from wholesale, and when I do that I get so nervous because I gotta spend money, right? Versus I just go to my garden and cut. There's nothing to lose except my flowers. Well, how come you bought wholesale? Like, did you just not have enough variety, or? Because I don't have enough flowers. This year I sold 54 bouquets on Mother's Day. Wow. Yeah. A lot of my customers, they see my bouquet, they see it's beautiful, but they don't know what they want to buy for, but they wait until Mother's Day, until,
holiday occasion, then they come. And Mother's Day is always like a big hit, and there will be like a husband or a boy, who come, and it's gonna be like one stop, for him to buy one for his wife, for his mom, his sister, and 10 of them is 30 bouquets sold already in like 2 or 3 hours. So I have to buy roses and ranunculus and some other big flowers from wholesale. Then I fill in with this kind of stuff like mint, like the little things that I have in my garden.
So how much did you charge your bouquets?
$40.
$40. And were you nervous about that?
I was nervous about that, but I also know that, Mother's Day, they want very special bouquet for their mom. So I give myself permission to also, stuff even more flowers than this on the Mother's Day bouquet.
And no one complained, right?
No one ever complained. And the reason I raised my price to $40 because I saw your video, like, how much you charge. What's the title? Like, do you raise your price for Mother's Day? Yeah. And thank you so much for that. I think I make more than...
over $2,000 for 54 bouquets.
Right, from $30 to $40. That's like 30%.
That's a huge bump, right? That's $540, right? Think about how much more you can reinvest in flowers for $540.
No one complained, sold out in like 2 or 3 hours.
Wow.
Also, some special orders like $100 bouquet.
Yep. So let's actually talk a little bit about, you said you sell to florists and wholesale.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like for you?
That's, at the beginning, I rely on that heavily because I have no business background at all. I never be in a retail industry at all. And Jason, my husband, work in a floral industry, and he know a lot of florists. So I have dahlias, and dahlias are rare flowers from in wholesale, especially the special variety that we are growing, like the new one. So wedding florists and high-end florists reach out to me because they want unique dahlias. So that's when I start selling flowers to florists. And after that, we cannot put all the eggs in one basket. So I start my flower stand because the florists, most of them want the big, reliable flowers. But I grow a lot of stuff that, I love, like this little one, the mint, the green, Not every florist needs that. So I start my flower stand because I want people to see these little flowers, that they are also as pretty as the big flowers.
Are you selling buckets to florists?
Yes.
And so are they saying like, I want 10 stems of, or I want like 5 bunches of this, or is it more like growers buckets?
So it's a long journey of building relationship with florists. I become, friends with almost all of them. And I often, when they're new florists, reach out to me, I often tell them, upfront, like the very beginning, that, hey, I have a small garden. I would not have, 10 stems of the same variety. But if you're looking for something unique, for bridal bouquet, for special, work, I would have that. So they kind of have that in their mindset already, that I would not have 20 stems of cafe au lait dahlia. And also, I kind of stopped selling, how can I say it? Like, I don't reach out to new florists. I don't promote, that I would like to sell to florists. Right now, I just have my accounts, like flower friends, florists, who reach out to me when they need something special. That's it. Because I understand their perspective too. They do in a wedding, right? And the bride needs special color, very specifically. Like, they would see, this is a little too coral. She would need, more pastel, more
Peachy. Yeah.
Right. Because of that, it can be time consuming to coordinate, what I have and what they need.
Also, how often are you selling to florists?
2 or 3 times a month.
Okay. So it's not as much as, well, actually, so then I guess for a typical florist order, how much are we talking about at a given time you're selling to them?
It can be $50, $100, or $200.
Okay, so it's not as much as your farm stand, but it's definitely supplemental to your farm stand.
Supplemental, and when you have a good relationship, when you kind of know each other, it's so much easier. It's even better than farm stand. Let's say I have a girl who is a florist, and she loves my flowers. She knows how to manage my flowers. So she would say, Crane, I need 20, she would say, Crane, I need $200 of flowers. Whatever you think is good for me. Then I just go cut in half hour. Then I make $200. Easy. I don't have to clean anything for her because, we kind of work together this way.
Interesting.
Right. So have some florist friends that, you have like a same, how can I, like,
You're on the same page, you know what each other wants, and it works out for both sides, right? Because you get to make a couple of $100, she gets what she needs, and it's perfect for her needs.
Right. But before getting to this point, you gotta have to,
You got to build that relationship.
and, kind of, how can I say it? Like, you probably have like 20 flowers, right? But then it's come down to like 5.
Yeah. So in a given season, right? So you start sometime in what, like we'll call it April, and we can go all the way to October, right? So we'll call it like a 5-6 month growing season. You can probably clear about $1,500 a month between wholesale and farm stand, right? So like that's not bad. Like that's high 4 figures for just cutting flowers in a perennial garden.
Actually, I have some other source of revenue too. It's a workshop. So some of my local customers, they once in a while they reach out to me if I wanna do a workshop. So that is another easy way to make money too. So I just put it on my Instagram and Facebook that I will have workshop, on this day, and then I have clippers for them. I have vases for them. They come here and they just go cut flowers and make flower arrangement for themselves, and I charge about $100 for this size of flowers.
And how many people attend at once?
5 people.
5 people.
Yeah. But again, I could do 10, but part of this I wanna
Experience.
experience too. It's fun for me to have people, talk about my flowers, ask me what this is. I love my local customers.
That's awesome. So you've got workshops, you've got florist orders, you've got farm stand. I think you also do consultations, right?
Yes, and also yes, but
That's more local.
that's more local, and I will stop doing that too because I don't have the time.
Yep.
And I think there's one more thing that I don't talk about is the wedding. I do some not wedding, like small event. So let's say customer would say, Crane, I need 10 mason jar bouquets. So I just make 10 mason jar bouquets and I make $300 for that one day. Also bud vases, that is a good sort of money too.
Okay. So all in, then you're probably clearing at least $10,000 in a given year from all of these things combined.
Just about, yeah.
Which isn't bad, because I can tell you that I know you're spending still time growing from seed and tending to your garden, but I feel like you've got a much more relaxed way of needing to maintain and garden versus the rest of us who are running around like maniacs, ordering plugs, putting them in flipping beds, and it's like this is the way to do it. I feel, if you are someone who wants a more relaxed way of making money with flowers.
Mm-hmm. Also, the perennials, to me, they kind of free money.
Yeah.
Like this, they're gonna bloom and they're gonna wilt anyway. Also, one thing that I feel like this is one of the benefit of doing this. When I go to garden center, I always did that. Since before I start all of this, I would hesitate. Oh, that hydrangea's new variety is so pretty. I felt guilty to buy that hydrangea for my own pleasure. But now if I see something very special, very unique and beautiful, you know what? That's one mason jar bouquet. I just grab that plant and come home, happily.
I love it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
We're gonna try to sell this 2 bouquet, and I will let Jessie know which one sold first.
Yes, so
If Jessie sold first, I would be a little embarrassed, a little bit. But so speaking of investment, we spend like thousands of dollars to build this for my customers. I don't know how long it's gonna pay off. Sunday. Today is Sunday.
Monday. It's Memorial Day.
Oh my God. Monday
28th? 27th.
Monday, May 27. So I tell my customer that $30 garden bouquets, which is supposed to be $40, on Monday, May 27 at our roadside stand. First come, first serve. Then I click share on Instagram, and it will also share on Facebook.
All right, guys, that's it. We are here with our bouquets. Hope you enjoyed that. I learned so much, and I hope you did too. And I hope that this inspires you out there if you're feeling a little bit just like stuck in terms of where to go with your flower farming journey. There are so many ways to sell flowers, and Crane is a really good example of being someone who found a way to make it work for him and also suit his lifestyle. So give him a follow if you haven't yet. He's at Cranery Gardens.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Oh my God, my hair is off.